Booms?
Was I supposed to watch?
You're talking to him 10 minutes ago before the show.
I know.
Okay.
It's been a long.
Saw him out on the runway.
It's been a long week. It's been a very long. In fact, is it still Wednesday morning, Bob?
Yeah,
that feels
of
like
course.
Wednesday morning.
Anything notable happen?
Yeah, couple of things here and there and all that stuff.
Hail to the Chief.
Hail to the Chief.
Welcome to the Big Play Tailgate, everybody, with Chucky Booms. Bob Golick, I'm Tony Zarella, and talking Browns here. Maybe a bye week, but there's always a tailgate, as you know. Talking some Browns, talking Cavaliers, who got off to the historic start. Yeah, phenomenal. What Kenny's doing with them is just tremendous.
Great.
But we're going to talk about that.
First coach ever with starting a new team, Bob,
Yes.
win the first 9 games in the history of the NBA.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So for everybody last year that complained about, we're going to keep the same team and just change coaches. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's working.
sure.
What he is doing. All right, we'll talk Browns bye week, and hail to their chief. Maybe they'll have a turnover as well at some point, a peaceful transfer of power. We'll see, right? But the bottom line is, we're here in the bye week at 2-7. It's not just how we got here, which we could break down. It's where do we go from here, and who will fix it, as somebody once said. Bob Golick, 2-7, and just an unmitigated disaster.
I don't know. Obviously, Zadarius was a move they had to make, but
Why?
well, I guess they had to. That gives them opportunities to bring more people in, because obviously they need a whole crap load of offensive linemen. Also, I just don't see. I don't see Jameis Winston staying in there very long. I got a feeling that Dorian's going to be in. I think they're going to try and make that move too. I don't know for sure, but
you're
at this
talking,
point,
respectfully, you're talking about this window here now over the second half of the season. I'm looking well past that because the season's gone.
Yeah.
So what do you do, no offense, moving forward to fix it? They're not going to fix anything this year. And both quarterbacks you just named, neither one's the answer.
Oh, absolutely.
So
well, how do you?
To be fair, I think Bob was onto a point there. I think he was addressing going forward. I mean, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Bob, but I think what you're saying is, what's the point in Jameis Winston? He's not going to be here. But Dorian Thompson-Robinson likely is not going to be the answer. But you got 8 games, and to let Stefanski do the Joe Flacco type offense and all that stuff, he had a good arm at UCLA, and so those are the kind of things. And I think what Bob said with Zadarius is, why don't you go join John Dorsey in Detroit and win a Super Bowl ring?
And I just think that with Dorian, I think that he's the guy that they seem like they've always wanted to put in there. He was the guy that they always kept on the roster as a quarterback, no matter who they had. And we saw Flacco go and him stay, and there are other people go and him staying. So this will give him an opportunity, I think, to see if he's the guy. But going beyond that, I mean, how do we know? How do we know? I mean, they've talked before about making the offensive line stronger and bigger, and then they get hurt. And the next thing you know, you've got your 4th string center playing, and it all goes to hell.
They're clearly intrigued by him.
Yeah.
Okay, I definitely understand that. Let's start at the top. Okay,
All
in
right.
2012, Jimmy Haslam bought this football team for $1 billion.
$1 billion.
$1 billion. By 2017, it was worth $2 billion, even though they were coming off the 1-15 season and would go 0-16. And now here they are at more than $5 billion. Such is the NFL, where everybody prints money. It is what it is. The TV deals, everything else, multiple platforms. You're gonna double your money every couple of years.
You would think that like retired players' pensions would be better.
Well, that's next week's show. We're going to do this for you. But the fact is, no matter what they do, or more specifically, don't do well, they just keep getting richer.
Well, I mean, are we going to fault Jimmy? I'm not going to fault the guy for making a great business move and buying the Browns. I got plenty of problems with Jimmy and Diaz. I'm not going to fault him for being a successful businessman, and certainly Pilot Flying J. He's about to make a lot more money because the new president is going to have gas prices under $2, and the truckers are going to love it, and that means Pilot Flying J is going to do great.
I don't begrudge Jimmy Haslam that at all. What I'm wondering is, what do you think his take is on this mess? What do you think it really is? Why is he going, if he is going to support this management regime moving forward? Because it's a clown show,
and I don't think he can.
He's still making money.
I don't think he can. Go ahead.
And we talked last week too about Andrew Berry and the people that he's drafted and didn't make it. And so, if I guess maybe you were leaning towards that, do we have to go get a front office that is different? I mean, do we have to have a different...
How about football guys? As I said, I brought up my solution. As people have talked to me now out in the stores, they love it. But I think you fire the whole crew. Mike Vrabel is right there to be head coach. He would be terrific as head coach. He once was a head coach and did quite well in Tennessee. And I would absolutely reach out to Jason Kelsey and see if he wanted to do what they did in San Fran, where you have two people that are both Cleveland-centric, they know each other, they're Ohio guys, and turn this thing around. You'd have the fans back instantly, and I'd be willing to watch a year or two of a rebuild with people like that doing it. Please, as Tony said a million times when we've done this show at the old place, for God's sakes, don't go get these same retread people like Sashi Brown types and all this. My head will explode. They need to do something new and innovative.
But you know what will happen then? Even if we swap out the front office and say this is the direction we're going into, and like you said, Boom, we're probably going to have some growing pains. Fans around here aren't going to, for them, the growing pains is going to look like the same old crap that they've been dealing with for the last 20 years. So they're not going to say, oh, well, okay, there's only two more years of garbage, and then they'll be better. No, every year seems to be the same. It's like Groundhog Day.
There's a reason we put the picture of Andrew Berry up. Last week on the show, we talked about the picks. Not many are people you'd keep on your football team if you want to be in the class of the Chiefs and those that are really fighting for something this year. The Lions, of course, look what they've done. Of course, who's in Detroit? That's the point, okay? That's the point. Who's picking the players? When you move forward, what do you think is going to change if the same people are picking the players?
Yeah, they have to go. I mean, that's the point is they have to go. I'm standing up as somebody saying, I'm thinking out of the box, innovative. By the grace of the Lord, you have Mike Vrabel right here. Yeah. He is a perfect guy to be a head coach of a cold weather city, cold weather team, Ohio guy, decorated Buckeye. He checks all the boxes.
Right.
And so does Jason Kelsey, brother of Travis Kelsey, with the Cleveland thing, one of the top player, Pro Bowler for 12 years with the Eagles. The list goes on and on and on what they bring. Bob raised an excellent point, but I think my thing cures it. Bob's point is, who the hell's going to sit around, Chuck, and watch 2 more years of garbage? I think if you have people like Vrabel and Jason Kelsey as the face of the franchise running it, they would put up with it.
Got to take a break. As we do, quick question. If you're Vrabel, one-word answer. Really, one-word answer. Where would you rather be next year, Columbus or Cleveland, if you had the choice?
If I was Vrabel?
Yeah.
I would still rather coach the Cleveland Browns.
Okay. I think a lot of people would disagree with that.
Okay.
But, all right, we'll be back. Ahead or behind, straight ahead, and this quarterback situation, what people are saying that's just going to make you laugh out loud. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the tailgate. You want a good laugh here. There are actually people, and we're not going to do Deshaun for very long here. There are people saying...
That's what the masseuses said.
There are people in the media speculating how Deshaun Watson comes back to your Cleveland Browns. Bob, it's not going to happen.
No, he's done. He hasn't.
Here. I mean, I don't know if he'll play anywhere else. He's
don't-
not.
And I
coming
don't
back
think
here.
he's going to play anywhere else. I mean, he had so many distractions. He had the suspensions. He had the police blotter, and all the things going on. And I think
He had a police bladder,
He had a
too.
police
believe it.
bladder.
Yeah.
I've got two,
Yeah.
but I've got a catheter underneath here. But no, but all the things he did, and he had all these distractions here. So you could say, well, you know what? He had all these distractions. I'm sure he'll get himself together. Well, he's gotten himself together. He's had time to get himself together, and if he's not together by now, at this point in his career, I don't think you have anybody who's going to pick him up unless they put him at the number 3 quarterback.
Chuck, he made 19 starts in 3 seasons for the Browns. He won only 9 of those 19 starts. He had 19 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. That's enough of the stats.
19 and 12?
No, he's 19 and 12 touchdowns to interceptions. But his record, which is more important, 9 and 10. And you can look at stats. Stats don't matter. You could see it on the field. You believe your eyes what you were watching.
Well, thanks to him, I have a torn retina from watching him play.
But you'll be back.
Yeah, got to have another surgery thanks to him. Look, it was an unmitigated disaster, and it is true. He's not kidding. On 92.3, the apologists, they're still on saying, creating scenarios. My old buddies Baskin and Phelps, they were the winners. They were the apologists of the week. I could see a scenario. You can't stop listening once that starts.
Yeah.
Because it's like somebody saying now, I still think Kamala can win. It's like, oh, I got to hear this. They're on there going, well, you create a thing and all this stuff. And Jeff was saying, and then you go out and you get a bridge quarterback. I'm turning it up now. I'm like, here comes a bridge quarterback. I got to have that. And then Baskin's weighing in. Baskin's on the computer going, I've got 5 names right here. And, how about Jacoby Brissett? And now I'm holding onto the steering wheel, just going, I'm going to go off the road. But they're giving you the bridge, and they go, he could be a backup, and he could be, if something happened to the bridge guy, he could get in. And I'm picturing every Browns fan, their head exploding, because the truth is, what he's been screaming, there is no way for him to. I don't give a damn how much. I don't care if you owe him half the franchise. Give it to him and get him the hell out of here.
You don't think that if you're one of the Browns executives, you're tempted to call in and say, I'm not supposed to do this, but you're idiots. He's not coming back.
That would be great. If JW called up, hi, is this Baskin and Phelps?
You can't believe
Will
this.
you stop saying that? He's not coming back.
I know that when you do TV and radio and stuff like that, there's always like producers that will say, well, we're setting up this scenario. We'd like to know how this could be, and then so somebody over there
Let's
must
go to
have,
Andrew Berry on line 2. Andrew, you heard JW. I'm just backing him up. He's not coming back.
I don't know if I'll be
Coming
back.
up next,
but-
Mary Kay Cabot on how we can keep Deshaun in the fold.
Well, these are the same. I'll get back to your point. These are the same people that were talking about after the Ravens dropped the interception to win the game, and so the Browns win, and Jameis gets Player of the Week.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're doing math on how they can win out.
Yeah, that's
they
it.
got to win out.
Let's
Okay.
play the schedule game. Here we go. I got him, and it's like, I think they can get on a roll, Bob, and really look. The Watson thing is over. It is completely done and gone, which is why the stench of that, to get back onto all the stuff we were talking about, even though that's a great laugh, the stench of that means Barry and Stefanski. And by the way, I was never a big Stefanski fan, but I'll tell you this. What he provided with Flacco and that run there was as much fun as I've had being a Browns fan.
So you keep Stefanski.
I would consider it because I don't think he's the one at fault. And it's for sure when you see his offense, he did not go to front office and go, hey, can we get Deshaun Watson? Watson never played that. Watson runs around, if you saw him in Houston, And that doesn't fit a Gary Kubiak offense. So, but I think the rest of them gotta go. And
But you know, and I think everybody expected that type of offense too. When they brought him in, then you see Flacco go and Dorian stays, and then you bring in Jameis Winston. You got a bunch of guys that can move around pretty good, throw the ball, that sort of thing. So the belief is, okay, whether you like it or not, they're letting go of Flacco because they have a type of offense they don't think he's set up for. But it's like
winning is the key, Bob.
He
That's
came
the
in.
kind
I know.
of offense.
When he came
What
in,
is that offense?
How would you describe this?
when he
And kind of,
I love it.
winning is
gonna
the
take a break.
offense. That's the
Ahead or behind when I recover and we come back.
Thank God.
I haven't laughed this hard in a long time. And if you don't laugh, you cry.
Yeah.
If you're a Browns fan. All right, it is time for...
tell us, Chuck.
For the game show, Bob sweeping the nation. And San Diego, California, which turned red, all the way to Kenny Bunkport, Maine, and from Seattle, Washington, which will never turn red, down to Key West, Florida, where I'll be spending the weekend with Texas quarterback Arch Manning, explaining to him that the term backup is not necessarily a bad thing. It's
Ahead or behind.
Thank you. Okay.
All right.
I've got in my grubby little hands here. Since it's a bye week, we thought we would do something. Brian, the great producer, and I put our head together and said, let's do something fun, something different. It's a bye week. I have the 20.
Halloween candy wasn't fun last week.
That was fun.
It was fun.
But
It was awesome.
this is the 25 greatest movies of all time.
I got you. This week.
There we go.
I don't think so.
Yes,
25 greatest movies of all time in the middle of the list.
by who?
We don't know.
This one's by IMDb, so this is legit.
Okay.
Is it
All right.
really?
IMDb.
Okay.
Well, that's it.
Can't argue.
I had IMBD. I'm taking
Penicillin knocked that right
it's
out?
knocking it
They
right
give
out.
an oral medicine too, but
Yeah.
That's
don't
how we
talk
got it.
about that.
So, IMBD, isn't that irritable bowel syndrome? Isn't that what that is?
All right, let's roll.
Which I'm starting to have.
IBS.
All right, 25 top movies of all time. In the middle of the list is Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers is right in the middle of the list. Let's go right to Tony Zarella and get it going. Is one of my all-time favorites. For Quentin Tarantino as well, I would think.
Oh,
Pulp
yeah.
Fiction. Is
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction ahead or behind Lord of the Rings, Two Towers?
You know, and I saw Pulp Fiction came out in '94, and I went to the movie theater 4 nights in a row.
At
4 straight nights to
Spectacular.
watch that, and it put John Travolta back on the map.
Yeah.
Yes.
Obviously, because he could not get a gig, and then he took every movie possible in the next 3 years.
Yeah,
as you know.
listen,
Yeah.
it had everything. As you're watching, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
God, there's Bruce Willis. You know,
Oh,
I mean, it just
everything
had
was-
everything you could want. And I never thought there'd be something as good as his first one with their
Reservoir Dogs.
Yes,
And-
where the
and-
cops being doused with
Oh,
gas.
I mean, in every movie he makes, I love. But
Okay.
anyway,
I thought he came back with Welcome Back, Kotter.
No,
Okay.
that put him on the map. I'm gonna say, listen, it should be ahead, and I'm gonna say it's behind. It should be ahead.
Well, you should have stuck with ahead. 'cause
Good.
it's
It
definitely-
deserves
it's
to be.
Talked
definitely
yourself
ahead.
out of
Take the
it.
hit. I don't care.
Definitely ahead,
You
Brian.
talked
That was
yourself
so
out of
good.
it. Time for me to take a lead.
Bob, I can't believe it. He should be up 1-0. He is not, of course, for everyone who watches every week.
You're not letting me win this time.
I am not.
Okay.
Lord of the Rings, Two Towers in the middle of the list, Bob, is Martin Scorsese's classic, Goodfellas. Goodfellas, Marty Scorsese, one of the great gangster movies of all time.
I'm not going to overthink this, so I'm going to say ahead.
Not a hurt if you overthought it, Bob.
Yeah,
because
I should have overthought. I
it's
should have
the,
thought about it at least a little
Yeah.
bit.
I don't know how, because
Yeah.
that's one of the great. When you think of Sharon Stone, all of them. Oh no, well that's Casino.
That's Casino, but you think you get De
Good.
Niro and Pesci together in that?
Yes.
Oh my
and,
God, yeah.
what's his name?
And get Ray Liotta.
Yeah.
So you get Ray Liotta.
Yes.
You know, that's phenomenal, and it should be.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
I wonder if they we'll go on with
Yeah,
this, but I wonder if they
Casino
compare.
is
It
great.
says he's this work with this work because, you know, his other works have to be up there, so you can only
Yes.
put so many Scorsese things up there. So
I agree. All right, Bob.
Again,
Is it you or no?
it's me.
It's you. It's your turn. Okay. Tony. Lord of the Rings, right in the middle
Yeah.
at the Two Towers there, Lord of the Rings. Probably, I would say, one of the best thrillers of all time, and an acting performance by Kevin Spacey that goes unnoticed but was utterly brilliant and catches the hook of the whole film. Morgan
Oh.
Freeman, Brad Pitt, and Spacey in Seven.
Yeah, it's ahead.
I'm sorry, it's not.
evidently, those guys that picked this are
Yeah, let's say it again,
Maybe they're
Ryan. Who is it? IMB.
maybe they're more sci-fi based.
I mean, I think Seven is one of the best movies I've ever seen. It really is.
And
All
that
right.
director, and I can't think of his name, Fichtner.
David Fincher.
How many?
Yes, right. Who's done a ton of great movies.
How many times do you watch it and you see Morgan Freeman? Don't open the box! Don't open the box!
All
So
right, we're
great. All right,
scoreless
here
here,
we
Bob.
go. Here we go. Here we go.
You're doing so good.
Middle of the list, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Let's go with a little blah, blah, blah.
Oh.
Clint Eastwood in The Good, The Bad, and The Ugly.
Behind.
You know, that's unfortunate, Bob.
Can I-
One of the
can I
great
call
westerns of
cheating?
all time.
Can I call cheating by Tony?
Ryan,
goes-
can I just say...
Tony goes thumbs down, and I went, oh, he knows.
Can I just say this as a public service announcement? For those of you playing ahead or behind at home and are getting these right, we apologize because it's not happening up here.
Well,
All right, here we go.
We actually got him right, but we've been editing the wrong answers
Yes,
in.
let's go. Let's get on the board here.
All right, somebody's got to get on the board. 25 top movies of all time. Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, right in the middle. My father's favorite movie. The first 45 minutes left every World War II vet in tears at the theater.
yeah.
One of the greatest directors God ever put on this earth, and a movie that should be shown in every classroom to every kid to understand the sacrifice of D-Day. Is Steven Spielberg's masterpiece, Saving Private Ryan, ahead or behind?
It's ahead.
I don't know what to
It's
do.
almost. It's like I'm living in an alternative universe where everything's reversed except for Pulp Fiction, which should have been ahead.
Yeah, you would be winning 1-0 right now. I just stuck with Pulp Fiction.
This is for the
unbelievable.
win. This is for
This
the last
is for
one.
the win.
Okay.
25 top movies of all time. Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers is right in the middle of the list. Bob Golick for the win. Is the thriller remake of Batman with Christian Bale, The Dark Knight, ahead or
It
behind?
can't be. It can't be ahead.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah,
Jeez.
that was the first of the trilogy.
I mean,
I've been saying behind, let's say ahead, just because they're weird over there at IMDb.
And it is.
Oh, my God.
It
You
is
suck.
ahead.
You
Saving
suck.
Private Ryan is not in the top 20, but that is. That's
Dark Knight.
insane.
Christian
Dark
Bale
Knight
taking
is
him into the
ahead of-
lead. Yep.
All right.
All right, there's your winner. Let's have him. This is an easy one. What's the #1 movie of
Of
all time?
Citizen Kane?
That's
I don't
a
really
great
like
film.
Citizen Kane that much,
Oh,
but
it's great.
Ohio's certainly proud of it. That's your hint.
what?
I have no idea.
The Shawshank Redemption.
It is
Number
the,
one.
it is
It's
the,
probably
the
one of
perfect
Yep.
movie.
It really is.
It is.
From beginning to end,
Yeah.
women loved it, guys loved it. It's a buddy movie. It's got every single
I won't
thing.
go to that prison in Mansfield because I'm not into that stuff. I don't want to be around it. Not prisons, ghosts. So I'm not going to do it.
Oh, I go there all the time and go in for
Are
the
you
ghosts.
serious?
Yeah,
Oh,
turn
no,
off
I
the
am
lights,
not- I'm
walk
not-
around.
I'm not
I don't want to see the ghost, but they're doing it. They're redoing it, I believe, Ryan, and putting all the stuff, the set pieces there, where
Yeah.
you don't have to see the ghost stuff, but you could see where they shot all the
you're
stuff.
right. What's number two?
Number two, it's hard to be number two and be the Godfather.
Yeah.
Oh,
Godfather
see
number two. Here's the vomit in your mouth. Number three is The Dark Knight.
That doesn't make any
No.
sense.
Number four, another one, Godfather 2,
Yeah.
which is
only
spectacular.
sequel to win Best Picture.
Yes, only
the way.
sequel to ever win Best Picture. 12 Angry Men, which is also a board meeting over at the Browns headquarters. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King is number 6. Ahead of, I also think, you couldn't possibly, if you have any part of humanity and you watch this and not bawl your eyes out, Schindler's List,
Yeah.
which was spectacular,
Yeah.
and the music and the
it's-
black and white.
That's incredible.
Pulp
Right.
Fiction, number 8. Lord of the Rings, another Lord of the
Hey, give me
Rings.
number 10 and we got to go.
Was number 9. 10 was Good, Bad, and the Ugly, and 11, Forrest Gump.
All right.
So there you go.
right.
Silence of the Lambs, It's a Wonderful Life. Some of these other ones, Star Wars, Fight Club, they were on the bottom.
All right. Same director that I mentioned. Ryan knew his name.
Yeah.
Fight Club. Yeah.
Too many good movies.
All right. gotta
Great-
be,
great ahead or behind.
Cavaliers. Hey, that was tremendous. Ryan,
Yeah.
good job on
Yeah,
that.
excellent,
and
Ryan.
Cavaliers off to that historic start.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, there you go.
You're right.
We'll be back. Back here on the tailgate. I think I hear something. Think I hear it?
Gotta make it happen. Come on, Kev. If this doesn't remind you of Howie Chiswick, and welcome to the Richfield Coliseum, Mid-America's showplace of sports.
Off to the historic start.
Amazing.
He really
So
was.
when they brought Kenny Atkinson aboard, and he talked about what he wanted to do with this team, which was to go deep early and often, and I mean on the bench, and get everybody involved and limit some minutes for some of the top end players. Did you believe that he'd be able to stick to it, and did you think they'd be this good at it?
I had no idea it would stick to it. He's sticking to it, Bob, which I love. And the last time I saw a team that did the 10, 12, whatever, everybody's in, everybody's fresh, was a guy named Kevin Mackey, who led the 1986 Cleveland State Vikings almost all the way to the Final Four. He beat Bobby Knight in Indiana. He beat Jim Boeheim in Syracuse. And so there is something to that. They always told you that doesn't work in the NBA. Well, he says otherwise.
Well, you know, when you go in, whether you believe it works or not, and we've talked about this in just about every sport we've talked to, when you have expectations about a player, a system, anything, you got to wait to see how it develops. And there's so many times we've seen players fail and then disappear. We've seen systems go, oh, that's not going to work here, and they go away. But this came in and worked, obviously, right from the beginning in 9-0, and it's right now everybody believes in what's going on out there.
Now, historically, I believe there's been 20 teams that had that kind of start. Of course, the Cavaliers, by the time this runs, had another couple of games. But the point is to rack up 9 straight to start the season. I think of the 24 teams went on to win the title. And
The Warriors were 24 and up.
Yes,
Yeah.
one notably didn't win the title.
That's the team.
And that was the 73-win team in 2016 that we came back and beat, being down 3-1.
Yeah, and in fact, the 9 in a row where they're at it is tied with, I think, an old Milwaukee team. Might even be when it was Lou Alcindor. I'm not sure.
Lou
But it's-
Alcindor
Decided to get some more hyphens and become Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Love his work in Airplane, by the way. That should have been on the list. So in other words, if you can get to 10 or 11 and all,
Yeah.
you're in very rarefied air. It's you and the Warriors.
Well, it's an indication, clearly, even though it's early in the season, and though these games don't really matter, they're going to come back to matter to some degree. But more than that, Bob, they show that winning the first 4 games to start a season, okay, you got hot teams who weren't ready. Here you are now, a few weeks in, and it's real.
Yeah, you're playing different types of teams, and you're using your system against it. And especially if it's something that you really haven't seen before, a new approach to it, then you believe pretty quickly. And and at this point, they've got enough games under their belt to now. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not even going to say it. Because right now everything's positive.
Yeah, stay positive. But I'm gonna throw something out there that just hit me, and I hope it hits you guys the same way it just hit me. I hope it hits everybody at home the same way. Does this remind you anything of a rookie manager with a bunch of ragtag guys that got off to a great start on the West Coast and came home, and next thing you know, they're 10 games over 500, they're 15 games over 500, and the next thing you know, the Guardians are the
Tom Hanks
second
in
seed.
League of Their Own.
Yes.
Yeah.
Second seed. You've got, again, he's a rookie coach in the fact that he's a rookie coach here, but he's been a coach before. These are all guys. What are you hearing from the locker room? We're having fun. Can't believe it's this fun. Everybody,
Atkinson had been a head coach before.
I said, with the Nets.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm saying he's our rookie coach.
Yeah,
this year.
I'm only hesitating on that because I'm thinking it was such a spectacular season for the Guardians, but this is just me. Throughout the entire season for the Guardians, I kept thinking, I don't think it's a fluke once you turn the corner in July. I don't think it's a fluke. I don't know that they have enough to beat one of those top-tier teams, payroll teams, whatever, and they didn't. And I don't want to feel like that about the Cavaliers. It almost makes me wonder when you say that, well, it's a good story for the Cavaliers and the young new coach. And
would you want to be the 2 seed in the East?
Yes, but I don't want to get trapped into thinking, well, they'll never beat Boston.
Okay, but how about if we have a 7-game humdinger with Boston to get to the finals? Not bad for a first-year coach.
But that's not okay. So what's the word you used for the Browns quarterback? You're serviceable. I don't want to be serviceable.
I understand.
You want to win it.
I understand. You want to win it right off the bat. And that would be a great story.
So why is Darius Garland so much better this year? What changed?
Eating solid foods.
Okay. That's not a joke. I know that's not a joke.
Yeah, he had his jaw wired shut. Lost a ton of
weight. People wanted him out of here last year.
Yeah, I can tell you what station was promoting that. Yeah. The same station that couldn't wait to get rid of Baker Mayfield and now act like they never said it. But at any rate, Darius Garland is playing free and loose. What you're seeing is with motion basketball. Now, remember where Kenny Atkinson, Bob, was last year. He was an assistant coach for a team I think we would all agree loves to have motion basketball, the Golden State Warriors. And he's sitting there with Kerr, under Kerr, and bringing that to a team that he said, as soon as he walked in, instead of last year where we're all going, how come Sam Merrill doesn't play more? He makes him the first guy off the bench. He's doing things. He's noticing what people bring, and he's changing the pieces out, and it's working.
A good coach is, first off, a regular coach would walk in, look at what you got, and say, okay, I can take these guys that have been in there, and I can make this work. Because I'm great with schematics and analytics, but a much better coach is going to be the one that's going to go, yeah, you know what? Sorry, you're too old. You're going to have to go sit down. You're going to come off the bench. They're going to see opportunities, and they're going to change everything to the way they feel the players are most suited.
Well, he coached Jared Allen and Karis LeVert in New Jersey. Jared Allen right now, no surprise, leads the league in double-doubles. He has a double-double every night, and 2 things pop into my mind when I hear double-double. One, 92.3 The Fan always said we should trade him too. That was their big thing. We got to get rid of Jared Allen. And when I hear double-double, Bob, I know you'll appreciate this. I think In-N-Out Burger. I want my double-double with cheese, my vanilla shake, and fries.
You know how, and we got to go, you know how people...
Best hamburger in the country.
He hasn't ever had one of them.
Yes, I have. And let me tell you something. You can go off menu. You know that, Ryan, right? You go off menu at In-N-Out Burger. And so It's not up there, but they know how to do it. And I once worked with a photographer that got an 8x8. So he had 8 slices of meat and 8 slices of cheese, and it was this big. You can
Seriously?
keep going. Yes.
Why?
I don't know.
He had a
Because
really
you,
big mouth?
because you can.
Because you can.
And all right, who's for real? Who's not in the NFL when we come back? Bob Golick, pop quiz. What do the Bills, Steelers, Texans, Chiefs, Commanders, Lions, Falcons, and Cardinals all have in common? There's 8 teams.
They all wear red.
No,
Well, boy, I thought
Steelers,
that was a
check.
good guess. Go ahead, Brian.
Commanders,
Is that-
check.
The Steelers told me that they all had red
Lions,
underwear
check.
on. No,
You got 5 of them, right?
okay, yeah, well, hey,
8 teams.
8 teams.
They all lead their divisions.
Okay.
Okay, they all lead the divisions. You didn't know that was
Sorry,
coming.
when I played, there was only 7 divisions.
Absolutely.
Can I buzz in? PP. I'm buzzing in. Of the 8, none of them have a quarterback that's serviceable.
They're all better.
Yeah.
They're all better
Yep.
than serviceable.
Yes.
Bills, by the way, Josh Allen, oh my God.
Having a year.
I mean, he's always been great since he came
Yeah.
into the league. He's cut back on the mistakes, which is a big deal. And even the 2 interceptions, didn't have to go that way.
When you do that
obviously.
list like that, it does tell you how far the Browns are.
Well,
from
that's the
being-
question. Let me go back to Bob.
Okay.
I just want to ask you this question.
Is this still his quiz?
It's not a quiz
Okay.
anymore. Now there's really no wrong
You
answer
passed, Bob.
at this point. So the Browns are 2-7. They're mired with the likes of the Raiders and the Jaguars and the Patriots and stuff like that. So here's my question: are the Browns closer to those teams, or are they closer to being in that group with the Bills and the Steelers? The Steelers who
6-2.
They're closer to the Raiders and the Patriots. Although
God.
you'd never think you would be saying something
Oh,
like that
God.
now with the Patriots, but yeah, I think they're closer. I mean, right now it's a scramble just to see who's healthy and who's going to go play. And hey, can we make something work this week? It's not good. No, they're more with the Raiders.
and
those
even
guys.
moving
Yeah.
forward until they figure it out with the
Yeah.
quarterback, they're going to be closer to the bottom, you think, than the
Yeah.
top.
Right now, everybody is frustrated. They're PO'd. They're like, well, it's because you start getting away from teamwork and you start getting into every man for himself. Well, you know what? My contract's up this year, and I got to go out and play well. And then you start looking at you look at the offense as you're running on the field, and the offense just punted and is coming off. And you look at your guys, and in the beginning of the season, we used to say, "Hey, man, don't worry about it.
Go get 'em.
We'll get you. We'll get this ball back, and you guys can take." But by the time you get to this point, as you're walking off, you won't even make eye contact with the offense.
Yeah.
You just avert your eyes and
Yeah,
just,
this is like when you have your marriage and you're all cuddly on the couch and everything, and then you get to be my parents at the end, where they're both watching Everybody Loves Raymond, but in 2 different rooms. So that's kind of
I'm not laughing at that.
and that's a love story. My phrase for the rest of the year is make me happy, put in Zappy. I'm ready to see Bailey Zappy and take a chance on anything because I'd like to be entertained, but I fear that this is only going to get worse.
Do you
And they
really
are
want-
closer to the
do
bottom.
you really want to see Zappy? Or
I
did
do.
you just find a word that was
No,
that
I do,
rhymed?
and I'll tell you why. Because he's very mobile,
Yeah.
and he does a lot of that same rollout, play action stuff, and I'd like to see it.
But not
I would try
long-term.
Dorian first, and then I'd go to Zappy.
Okay, so of the teams that, not just the ones I named, but even like a team, let's say like the Bengals the other night, that was a thriller, but they ended up losing.
Burrow,
That's kind of indicative of their season.
4 touchdowns, 3 to
I mean-
chase, 250 yards receiving. Name a receiver or a quarterback we have that's anything like Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase.
No,
Nothing.
we're not in the galaxy.
We're not even
We're
in-
not. Who's a fraud in the NFL right now? Which team is winning enough games to keep you intrigued?
PP, I'm buzzing in. The fraud is Dallas. The Dallas Cowboys are a fraud. With that payroll, they have the most expensive player in football, Bob, with all deference to your beautiful blue jacket. The most expensive quarterback, and their coach is an idiot, and the team is garbage, and they stab each other in the back every chance they could get. All I got to do is follow the Cowboys. Some of the guys on Twitter.
So, but they're 3-5. So they are what they are. But the point, the expectations are fraudulent. That's what you're saying.
The expectations are bad
Right.
because I mean you look at them and it was like the Patriots when Brady left. You're waiting to see which direction they're going to go. Next you know they're in the crapper. I mean Dallas is going the same way, and it's not like we're looking at anything saying, oh, it's just a matter before they come back. We go week to week, and you start filling out your forms, and next thing you know, oh, I'm picking against the Cowboys again.
Bob, you just made me think of something that I couldn't wait to ask both of you, especially you, Mr. Boston, Mr. New England. I have said I think it should be Jason Kelsey as GM and Mike Vrabel as coach. Would you, either one of you, Tony, you can go first, would either one of you call Bill Belichick, have him come back and say, it's a mess, you're the GM, you're the coach, you're back in Cleveland, it's all yours, and please bring all your Super Bowl rings with you?
I would make the phone call, of course, to Bill Belichick. I'd ask him at his age, in his 70s, how long he really wants to do this. You can't do what Bill Belichick does in 2 years. It's not because you leave. You retire, you go off to the beach
right.
with your 30-year-old girlfriend.
She's 25.
Okay, whatever you're doing, do you really want to do this? If you really
A
think...
25-year-old? Yes.
If you really want... Oh, Bill had... Well, that's the end of that phone call.
Stay in your lane there, Chucky.
Andrew Barry's on line 2.
Yes, if you don't make me go down,
Yeah.
I'm going to... Yeah, if he wants to really give you 8 good years.
I think that's a good point. You have to see if he can do it.
And
You wouldn't
get-
take 5? You wouldn't take 5?
I'll take 5. Total power. He gets total power.
Yes.
Everything. Because it doesn't work if he doesn't.
But how in this scenario can we convince everybody to wait 5 years? I mean, there's so much.
Again, remember what I brought up with the other two guys?
Yeah.
Think of the credibility Belichick brings. He was here. He walks back in. Everyone complains. We had Bill Belichick, and of course he goes on to great things, but we had him first. It's kind of a love story.
Well,
you know, he's coming back.
There's no love. Nobody liked him here. Players
Yeah, I
didn't like
understand.
him. Fans didn't like him.
Casey
Media didn't
Coleman
like
liked him a lot. God
But you know
rest
what?
her soul.
I don't
Casey.
see. I just when Brady left the Patriots, while sat there going, okay, let's see who it was. Then they finally separated. Those two people born as Siamese twins.
Would he rather have this job
And I'm just
with
like-
Dee Haslam and Jimmy Haslam saying, we'll leave you alone, but they're right down the hall?
what I'm-
Or would he rather have the Dallas Cowboy job, but Jerry and his idiot kid are just down the hall?
I think he'd love... I can't speak for Bill Belichick. I don't know which one he would. I would think he'd want to come back here if he was going to do anything.
Unresolved business.
Yes, and have
He
total
says,
control.
in all his interviews, and Parcells, that great thing where him and Bill are talking side by side, he said, my Cleveland team, the last year I was there, if I had another year or two, we'd have won it.
Yeah.
And he feels that he is a guy like, I was that close.
Yeah.
Can I finish my thought?
Yeah.
now?
Yes,
Sure.
and then we're going to do picks. Go ahead.
Okay. Wait, no. I think that when Brady left, I think we saw who was making that Patriot team run. Was it Belichick? Was it Brady? And I think we saw Brady was successful down to the Buccaneers. I think we saw the Patriots starting to slide. So
you
I
have
don't know.
reservations
At
about
this,
Bill.
At this point in his age and experience, I've got reservations about it.
Okay.
Fair enough. All
That
right.
is
Who,
fair, and a
who to
good
bet
point.
on today? The NFL picks. Chucky's keys to the game when we come back. Let's get to the picks. Chucky, you're a guy. Joe Flacco is going to play again for the Colts. They're going to stick with him for a while. They're getting on their home turf in that dome 4 points from Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
And it's Chucky's keys to the game.
How dare you, Tony? How dare you go into that without him screaming?
Yes. Chucky's keys to the game. I like the Colts at home, and I like Flacco to get back on track. I'll take the Colts, Bob.
I'm going to go with him too. I like Flacco. He's like my current day Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Anybody who gets fired for no good reason, I start supporting him.
Baker Mayfield is what's their record, by the way? 4-5.
Yeah, but he's played successfully.
I know.
Well. They have no
played
defense.
good against Kansas City.
They did.
Played great.
He
Yeah.
came down and he did what he had to do, and then
Yeah.
all right. I'm going to take the Bills, given the points. So Chiefs, can the Chiefs? They're hosting the Broncos. Broncos are a surprising 5-4 team. Chiefs remain unbeaten. I don't know how long this streak can continue. I don't know, but the Chiefs are giving 8 to Denver. Bob, I'll start with you.
I'm going to go Chiefs, even given the 8. I don't know what to. We've seen different things out of the Broncos, after watching them last week, I just think the Chiefs last week. I mean, I just think there's nobody that can stop them at this point.
I was trying to remember because I went with the Broncos last week and they got destroyed by somebody. It was a big spread, and I thought they would fare a little better.
They're a tough team to figure out, really. It's a tough team to bet on.
Yeah, the only thing that's interesting about this game to me is the coaching matchup. You got a couple of old school guys in Sean Payton and Andy Reid. That'll be kind of an interesting chess match. But for me, the Chiefs just have too much firepower. I'll take the Chiefs.
All right, Buccaneers hosting the Niners. Christian McCaffrey expected to play, coming back. Who knows how much he'll do. I really want to talk about it because of your Bucs. And the Bucs are getting 6 on their home field.
The 49ers have got to right the ship. They're in the big pirate ship, but so's Tampa. Both teams really need this game, Bob. I'm going to go with the Buccaneers because I want those points. I think this could be a close game again, and the Bucs have been in those quite a bit. And remind me for Key West next week, if McCaffrey's healthy, I'll take him.
Robert?
I am going to, much like I'm a Cleveland Browns homer, I'm a Baker Mayfield homer also, not just because he's doing so well and he kind of got treated badly here. I think he's I think down there in the pirate ship, I think they play very well, and I think they're going to have a good game against a 49er team that they're going to have to move McCaffrey back in and start to feel like use him the way they did before.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm taking Baker. I'll take the points
at
home. That's about it for us this week. We got about 15 seconds.
I have the Browns losing, by the way. I know.
I'm not surprised by that. It's been brutal.
Yeah, if we show up next week for Tailgate, Bob, and they go, and the 2-8 Browns, and we're like, wait a minute, what happened?
It's automatic. Just check. Robert Golick, thanks very much.
Thank you, Tony.
Chucky Booms, good to see you.
Thank you, guys.
See you next week on the Tailgate.